Right. Welcome everyone to the Cluster Addons meeting. Today is Tuesday, the 31st of August. Let me see. Last meeting was cancelled. Don't have actions from last time, but we do have a couple of big agenda items. Justin, yours is the first thing.
Thank you. Yes, I hope this isn't going to be too controversial, but we'll see. The Kubota declarative pattern library currently does not use any versioning. So all the versions are sort of pinned to, I guess it's a date and a SHA. And I think there was a PR from Addo88 who proposed bumping the Kubernetes version. It's like, oh, we actually don't have versions in our library. So that PR is linked. I think it's actually currently closed right now, sort of in anticipation of a decision, but looking at like controller runtime, it has versioning. So I just wanted to call people's attention to this library. If anyone thinks we should not do versioning, or if anyone has a proposal for a different versioning proposal, then please let me know. But otherwise, I was going to try to mirror the controller runtime versioning numbers, actually, if we can, but at least the major and minor. I don't know if we'll keep up with patches, but it seems like the easiest way to keep things aligned, and you can't sort of use one without the other. So, or you can't use Kubota pattern without controller runtime. So aligning to the controller runtime version seems like the easy way to go. And I guess feel free to comment on that closed PR or here. Maybe I'll open another issue just to organize a little bit better. I'll open an issue and put it in the chat here.
Are there any big implications, like things that would need changing, or?
I don't think there are any huge implications. It just means we need to be a little bit more disciplined about not making breaking changes without bumping the minor, technically, I guess, while we're still on major 0. And I think it actually will de-escalate some of the debates about whether or not we should bump versions, because we'll sort of have a clearer version strategy, and we could probably have more than one version open at once. So for example, if there was a security vulnerability in a particular version of one of either our library or a dependency, we would be able to bump it and backport those bumps without requiring people to go to the latest version, which is sort of what they have to do today. But yeah, a little bit more branch management, I guess. But not as a library, it's not too burdensome, in my opinion.
Does anyone else have any questions or feedback for Justin? To me, it sounds like it makes sense, but I'm probably not the best person to make decisions.
I do hope it would be uncontroversial. It should just be easier to consume at a small cost to the library maintainers, which is actually has some benefits as well. So I think it's hopefully seen as a universal good thing to start using versions. But I welcome anyone to tell me why it's not worth it or something.
Super. So will you add like a new issue for it, or yeah?
I'm adding an issue now, and I will link to the existing one and the existing PR, and I'll put it in the agenda notes.
Super. Thanks, Justin. I think you wanted to give us an update on what's been happening with Rugpack.
Yeah. I apologize. it seems like this has been dragging out forever. We keep getting like preempted with other work here, but we managed to get a skeleton up for how we think everything should be organized, with some sort of like no-op controllers for bundles and provisioner classes. So just for some background, it's like the super extensible top level types for just sourcing content on the cluster and then managing it and applying it over time. And so like we can create these for like any number of things. And if we decide on like the format for add-ons, like manifest bundles, we can sort of use these on cluster representations with a provisioner for that as well. So hopefully that now that we've sort of exploded all the issues we were tracking internally on here at Red Hat for like what we wanted to do for the project onto the issues in GitHub, people can feel free to like pick up and contribute when they want to. And also, I think it's a little bit more clear about like how you would add a new sort of provisioner to this repository if you wanted to include like one natively. So the issues link is there on the agenda, but that's about it.
Is there anything in particular that needs to be, or that you would want people to look at first? Is there like a particular order or things that are more important than others?
Yes, so we've kind of like broken things down. Most of these refer to like these plain KDS bundles, which are essentially just a directory with a bunch of manifests in them and some metadata. The docs will be published to this repo soon, but we have a large like automate and build testing workflows, which is just like some generic stuff for like getting a provisioner running on the kube cluster using a workflow, a GitHub workflow. That's like pretty important. We have perhaps some features for like overriding bundle content. So this is like maybe changing the types so that you can put whatever you want into a bundle at runtime directly, maybe like reference a volume or inline manifests for a particular type of bundle, which is also important. But other than that, these are all lateral.
Great. Yeah, also just saw at the top of the agenda there was a demo from Rugpack. Did you already do a demo of what Rugpack can do already? I missed a couple of meetings, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So Tim, who's also on this call, did like some perspective stuff and just prototyped a bunch of stuff out that works, but was not necessarily like conducive for getting like upstream more folks contributing to it. What I mean by that is like the organization maybe wasn't where we wanted it to be, but we kept having things preempt us here, and Tim was busy, so I didn't want to step on his toes by giving a presentation of his work without him.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I was just wondering, I would have linked to the demo as well, so that new contributors can just, take a look at what's already working.
Yeah, it's more just intended as a gathering place for future topics for people to add to if they want to. That was the intent of that section. I previously put the version discussion in that backlog.
Cool. Yeah, any more questions or anyone interested in the RUGPAC work? Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, Nick, for your work on this. Do we have anyone else today who wants to like bring up a subject or anything we were hoping to discuss?
Yeah, hi, my name's James, and I guess I'm kind of wondering, at one point, there was a PR for KubeADM to like pull in generic component configs. And my understanding was that that would make it easier for like, you know, bootstrap time add-ons to be set up on the cluster. And, you know, maybe I've missed it. I've been trying to attend these meetings, you know, on the regular, but is there an intent to move that forward? Is there something else coming that's going to replace that? Just kind of wondering like what the plan is for bootstrap time add-on stuff. You know, like a network stack, for example, right?
I can give a bit of background. I mean, I think I contribute more to KOps, so I'm trying to get it into KOps as the sort of first proof of concept of where that goes, and sort of tackling some of the trickier issues there first. I think KubeADM lets you add an additional manifest. I don't know if that's true, but some of the operators that are purely additive, you should be able to effectively just add with an additional manifest and sort of get some of the benefits there. So that's hopefully a step forwards. I think there are two cases where that's tricky. One of which is where the operator is currently built into KubeADM, which I think is core DNS, for example. So if you wanted to somehow swap that out, that might be a little trickier. And the other one of which is where either the configurations has to go one way or the other, either back into the cluster configuration or from the cluster into the operator. And that's a trickier problem that, again, we don't yet have a great answer for. As I have more knowledge of KOps, that's where I'm trying to address those first. There's a PR up, for example, for core DNS about how it can easily get the kubedns IP address, even in the case that it's sort of running in like a pre-generation mode. But there's also the option that the operator will get some information by discovering it from the cluster after having been installed. So I think that's where we are. I think most of the progress is currently happening, and it's not great progress, is currently happening in KOps right now. But I hope that once we get one of them working, that we can also get the others working on the same sort of patterns.
Cool, thanks. So when you say just pass the manifest, I mean, am I understanding that right? You can just hand KubeADM like a resource manifest and it'll install it for you? Is that what you're suggesting? I mean, or something else?
Exactly. I mean, all it's going to do is it's going to do a kubectl apply. I actually don't know whether KubeADM has the ability to do that apply for you. It's not like, you know, it's not the hardest thing to do as a separate line in a script anyway. So I don't know whether they've built it in, but that's sort of the, you know, for anything that's purely additive, that works just fine. So that could be a good, you know, way for some networking providers at least.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Super. Anything else for today? not, we might be able to wrap this up early. Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. See you again in 2 weeks. Bye.
Thank you.
Right. Bye, everyone.